friends. Today is Monday, June 12th, 2023. I am Lindsay Duff, and this is Responsible Day Trading. All right, we're getting started early again today. It's the summer here. I have a graduate, so my summers are eternal now. I made it. I got 2 through, and we're good to go. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on. Guys, I am so excited. We looked to break through that area before, this area around the 4,200. We have not only broken through it, we have smoked through it. There was a little bit of curiosity last week as whether it was going to pull back, but it just continued up like we had talked about. And I'm super excited to go a little bit deeper into it today. Okay, before we head over to market news, something else I realized we need to talk about real quick is market rollover. We've rolled over from the June contract to the September contract. So if you haven't rolled over your contracts and maybe something you want to consider, NinjaTrader will pop up with an official rollover. You can choose to do it or not. The old contract is still running right now, but it's just, I go ahead and switch over whenever NinjaTrader asks me to. If I want to, there's a pull down where I can change back to the old contract if I want, but I like to move over to the new one. I do like to see which one is moving a little bit faster and stick with that typically, but I just usually go ahead and move over to the new contract and stick with that on my personal account. That's not always the way it works on prop firms. You need to wait for a certain date to roll over, so make sure you're paying attention to that. All right, let's go ahead and check out the market news, and then we're going to check out the market. All right, so let's go ahead and head over to news, and then we're going to head to market news. And woo, we got a lot going on this week. Okay, well, actually, most of it's pre-market, so it should be something. Wednesday is going to be a mover probably, but so there's nothing today. Tomorrow, an hour before market opens, we got some movement here. We've got some market news here. Wednesday, we've got news an hour before the market opens, news an hour after the market opens. Then we've got FOMC. Oh, we got a lot going on here. So this may be a busy day on Wednesday. Thursday, all pre-market as well. Starts an hour before the market opens. So there's not a lot of news to worry about, but Wednesday could be a doozy, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and head over to the market. What we wanna do is we wanna start off with our daily chart. It's where I usually begin. Ooh, okay. Let me make this just a little bit bigger. All right, so, all right. When we started off last week, we were right in this area, and it was kind of curious whether or not we were going to continue up to the next area, right? So we broke out of that area, we pulled back into it, this area we've been waiting to break through for quite some time. We pulled right back into it and we pushed up. So now we're sitting at the next area of resistance. Now this is an area that I've drawn that shows us right here where we held back to this area, and this is where we pulled back to. Now, was that the high of this area? No, we do still have a little bit higher to go before we reach that last major high right here. Now, the thing that is going on here is there's not a ton of strength as we're reaching here. We are outside of the Bollinger Bands. We haven't dipped inside. Even with this little pullback, we haven't dipped inside. It could look something similar to this where it pulls back and then continues up, but right now, it's not that extreme strength that we see like back in here. It's slowed down with weakness. It is outside of the Bollinger Bands, which is something that's in favor with continuation up. So, as we're reaching this area, what we're gonna have to determine, are we gonna make a double bar and we're gonna push down? Is this gonna continue on and push back up through this area? I'm excited because either way, we have a lot of opportunities ahead of us. If it does pull back down to this area, we got a lot of space to run. If it breaks out of here and pushes up, we've got a lot of space to run. So we're kind of at that little area of, are we gonna break through? Are we gonna bounce off? Either way, I'm gonna be prepared for what's to come. All right, so next I'd like to go to the 28,657. And here we are at the 28,657. We can see we reached the area of resistance. We pulled back to it. We pushed back up here. We made a bit of a W pivot. If this W pivot is going to quote unquote complete, it will push up just a little bit higher. Now, here's what we got going on the 28,657. We definitely are looking at some potential for divergence if this reaches up and equals this previous pivot, because these MACDs are going to take a lot of work to push up there past this area. So we do have some potential for divergence at this area, but it could very easily just push through and continue. So we're going to watch and see. I think EMAs are open to the upside. All the direction right now, the immediate is up, the overall is up. The immediate could shift down with the potential for divergence, but currently it's still to the upside. All right, so let's look at our trading charts. So here we are with the 233, the 1597, and the 10946. A lot of times lately, I have been shifting my charts to have the 1597 here, the 610 here, and the 233 here. What we see is these long bars on the 10946, and they may be a little hard to interpret when they're this big. So if you ever want to move this down just a little bit, you could do something like this. We would put this in that place right here, and then we have the 233. And what this does, and there's a couple of different combos you can use. This is one of the ones that I've really liked lately because it's allowed me to have much smaller bars, much smaller areas to work with, and not be so concerned with how long these bars are. Really, you can use any chart as your trading chart as long as you're able to have this definition in what you're using on your other charts to read it, to flow with it. So if we're looking at this, it makes it just a little bit easier to deal mentally with these long bars that we've seen. But we are going to go back to what we're using, the 1597, the 10946 for now, to walk through what's going on. All right, so let's start with the 10946. We pulled back into the EMAs here. We pulled back into the zero line. It pushed to the upside. You can see price has pulled back into the EMAs here. Again, we haven't had a lot of activity in the MACDs in that pullback, which tells us that we might be able to just continue up at this point. Now, we can see on the 1597, pulled back into the EMAs was a strong move. When the price pulled back up and the MACDs pulled back up, you couldn't break through that top Bollinger Band. And you haven't been able to break through the bottom Bollinger Band. So are we just going to bounce back and forth between here? Are we going to see this BB push and move through the top Bollinger Band and push up? We do have a potential W pivot right here. Now this is the bigger W pivot we were talking about earlier. And we can see pretty much all of us have got to set up for a bit of a W pivot to the upside, which is kind of exciting because we could possibly see this push through this resistance area and continue up. So we can see these BBs still rolling up here. These BBs are a little bit small for me, but we'll make them bigger in a moment. There we go. Just made them bigger really quick. Okay, so what we have right now on all charts is we have direction up. Even on the 233, we've shifted our direction back to the upside. We were back down here, we've shifted back up. So 10946, we're above the EMAs, we're above the zero line, direction is up. Do we have a potential for divergence here? We could possibly see that happen. If we come up and equal this previous pivot, the MACDs will be leading lower. So we do have direction up with the potential for down. We do have the direction up on the 1597 above the EMAs. Haven't quite made it back above the zero line, but we never broke back below the EMAs and pulled away from them. So the direction remained to the upside. So guys, really what we're looking for is more up. We'd like to see it break through this area, pull back to it. I want to pull the daily chart back in really quick so we can look at it on the bigger picture. With the daily chart, remember, our next big area is right here. So let's go ahead and put an area there so we can pay attention to it. I want to kind of look right in here is where I want to pay attention to. So I'm going to go to the top of this bar and to where the closes are. And this is our next area to really, we've got to break through this one first, but if we break through this one, this is our next area that we really want to pay attention to. Oh, sorry guys, I just had a sneeze attack. But this is our next area we really want to pay attention to. After that, we're going to be looking up in here. Then after that, we're going to be looking up in here. Then after that, this is our last remaining high that we have not exceeded. if we look at how far we are from it, we're really not that far off considering how big some of these moves can be. So it has really slowed down as it's trying to get up to this area. There's probably a lot of confusion and indecision over, are we going to break through these areas and continue up? We keep hearing that a recession is waiting for us, things like that. So it may scare people to move a little bit more to the upside at this point. But we can see slowly and steadily, it's trying to make its way up there. Now, does that mean it could just bust to the downside and just move in the opposite direction really quick? Yeah, it absolutely can. But as we're seeing right now, if we break through this area, we get through the next, guys, we are home free for a while. So I'm excited to see this happening. All right, my friends, like I said, I just had a crazy sneeze attack, so I'm gonna go take some allergy medicine and get started with my day. I have a workout in about 15 minutes. 20 minutes. So I'm looking forward to it. Guys, if you have questions, please reach out to us. We are happy to help. I mean, reading through these charts can be something that takes some time and some skill to learn, but the more you get it and the more you practice and the more you really look at those bigger pictures and work your way to the downside without starting out with that small chart, because the small chart can flip-flop back and forth pretty quick. It can be a little wishy-washy. So start off with that big chart. Start off with the daily chart, then go to your next biggest chart, then go to your next and say, what is it saying? What is it saying? And what do we have to fall in line with continuation with these bigger charts? So, all right, guys, that's going to be it. We're going to call it a day. I hope everybody has a beautiful week. If you have questions, please reach out to us. Otherwise, you know that I look forward to catching you on the profitable side.